Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the Flight Sim world. This is Viperstrike 95, and today we are back here with our around the world trip. This is day 41 of our trip. And today we're back here at David Airport in Panama, and we're going to be visiting our next Central American country today. We're going to be making our tour over to Costa Rica, a really beautiful area, and another country that I will be visiting in real life next year. So, guys, I hope you're having a great weekend so far. I hope everything's doing well for you guys in the weekend. I know that some of you guys are hopefully going to relax this weekend. I know there's quite a bit of stuff going on for some of you guys in Europe with Euro 2024. So, some big stuff. So, today's flight plan is going to be pretty simple here. We're going to be showing off this nav map for a bit. Nothing major, nothing important. But here's our flight plan for this today. We'll take off from David. We'll climb up a mountain. We might see Volcan Baru. We'll make our way to the Boca Islands. And more specifically, we're going to actually end up on our first stop here at Mike Papa Charlie Hotel. We'll check out the Boca Islands. Then from there, we'll climb up, and we'll head our way over to Costa Rica's central capital city of San Jose, Costa Rica, and we'll land at the country's largest airport at Mike Romeo Oscar Charlie, Juan Santa Maria International Airport in Costa Rica. Then from there, we'll go to our third and last leg, which we will visit the city of Liberia, and make our way over to Mike Lima Romeo Bravo at Daniel Obedur International. Yeah, we're going to be going through some beautiful areas here in Costa Rica. Should be a nice and relaxing flight. So the plane we're taking here today, it is the Parallel 42 Freedom Fox. We're taking the Freedom Fox today. This is developed by Parallel 42. If you guys don't know about Parallel 42, you're probably hiding on a rock. But they've made all sorts of great little add-ons and stuff, mainly with Flow, which is our game changer. But this is actually their only plane they made so far, but it's really good. It's still one of the best bush planes you can get. It's a great all-around plane. And Trip Palmer even worked on this with them, but it's a beautiful plane. And it's been a favorite bush plane of mine for years. I've always loved the Kit Fox. So it's nice to take this thing back into the air once again. As always. So let's go ahead. She's pretty easy to get going. Pretty easy to start. No question. But so before we get started, I want to say hello to the chat. We got Super Typhon, my moderator. Yeah. And hello to all the lurkers here too. There's plenty of you guys here working. No worries. So you guys are more than welcome to come here. Now, the one nice thing about the Kit Fox is we are not going to need much of a runway to be taken. But we're also going to be going for some pretty high altitudes this, because flight number 1 is going to be 9,000 feet is going to be our cruising altitude for this 9,000. And we're off. That's the nice thing with the Kit Fox. You always know this thing's got short takeoff performance. It's a really cool plane. Hey, George, good to see you. Yes, it is. Bless you, thank you. Yes, it is, George. This is the Parallel 42 Kit Fox. This is the free and fox variant. There's also a couple other variants. There's a load slow variant. There's also the stage 2, which is an absolute beast of a plane. It can take off basically in a dime. Yes, it is, my dude. It's a great plane. I know this plane's got a lot of competition. With the Goprin's Vilga. The Vilga is a major competitor to this. That's the biggest one I know of, but I mean, there's a few others. But the Kit Fox is still fantastic. It's still if you like bush planes, this is still a must-have. There's also the double ender as well from Goprin's. They made 2 really good ones. So. Oh, oh, that stinks, George. I mean, I'm not having issues with mine, but for you, it might be some add-on conflict or something. That's probably the only reason I know is add-on conflict. That's usually the biggest reason for a lot of these stuff not working is sometimes some add-ons just have conflicts. That's what's causing them to not work. The alternator. There's the avionics. It must be the avionics or something. It doesn't have an alternator. It has the lane A, lane B, and it has the master battery and avionics. Yeah, beautiful area today. And here's the city of David, by the way. David, Panama is down below us. So here's David, Panama. But yeah, Lake 2, though, we're going to be flying much higher in Lake 2. We're going to be going to 12,000 feet for Lake 2 because it's going to be quite a long climb. So Costa Rica. So we're going to be visiting the country of Costa Rica today. This Central American nation has a population of around 5 million people and is bordered by Nicaragua to the north, Panama to the southeast, the Caribbean Sea northeast, and the Pacific Ocean to the southwest. Population of 5 million people in a land area of 51,000 square kilometers. Around 333,000 people live in San Jose, which is the country's largest city. It's a unitary parliamentary republic. It has a long-standing social stable democracy and highly educated workforce. It's performed very favorably in Human Development Index, placing 58th in the world. It's also among the world's happiest countries, and is a major tourist destination for the continent. However, one unique fact about Costa Rica you don't know is it's actually one of the only few sovereign nations in the world to not actually have a standing army, as they abolished it in 1948 after a civil war. Maybe that's probably why Costa Rica's been so stable, because of it. Which is something rare considering Central America had a lot of issues during the Cold War times. I mean, you have Guatemala with its issues. You have Nicaragua with the Contras, Honduras with its own violence, and then Panama with Noriega and all that. Yet Costa Rica was unaffected by all of that, surprisingly. Costa Rica's history. Historians have classified the indigenous people of Costa Rica to be from the immediate area. In stone tools, the oldest evidence of human occupation in Costa Rica are associated with arrival between 10,000 and 7,000 years BCE. And the prevalence of the colposite spearheads opens the possibility that 2 different cultures coexisted. Agriculture came around 5,000 years ago, mainly growing tubers and roots. And for the first and second millennium BCE, there's already settled farming communities. They're small and scattered. However, compared to many other nations, the influence of indigenous people in Costa Rican culture has been pretty small since they lacked a strong native civilization to begin with. That's why, unlike many other countries we visited in Latin America, like for example, Bolivia has a strong indigenous influence. Paraguay, Peru, there wasn't really a lot of much of indigenous culture stuff to begin with in Costa Rica. In terms of Europe, the name Costa Rica, meaning rich coast, was first applied by Christopher Columbus when he sailed around Costa Rica during his voyage in 1502. And then, of course, the Spanish gained that area during the 16th, 17th century. During most of the colonial period, Costa Rica was the southernmost province of the Captaincy General of Guatemala, not only part of the Viceroyalty of New Spain. However, it was largely an autonomous entity within the Spanish Empire, and its distance from its capital, Guatemala, made it a very poor, isolated, and sparsely inhabited region. And it was described by one Spanish governor as the poorest and most miserable Spanish colony in all of America. As a result. However, like the rest of Central America, Costa Rica never fought for independence from Spain. In 1521, after the Spanish defeat in Mexican War of Independence, the authorities of Guatemala declared independence for all Central America. However, the Central American Republic didn't really last all that long. It only lasted until 1838. Upon independence, there was bands of different people. Oh, yeah, yeah, my Discord beeping crap. Yep, sorry about that. Oh my god. In the red, too many revolutions. No worries. There's the Imperialists, defended by favor of joining Mexico, and the Republicans joining independence. 1838, the Federal Republic of Central America ceased to exist, and Costa Rica became a sovereign nation of its own. However, surprisingly, Costa Rica's history is actually pretty quiet for the most part. And the reason is because um, Costa Rica was actually pretty quiet for much of the 19th and 20th centuries. For example, coffee was mainly grown there, and it became the primary export for coffee well into the 20th century. But the big reason why Costa Rica has not been so peace is because, unlike many other Latin American nations, um, there's actually been a lot of peace in Costa Rica. For example, as well with trade unions. But there were two periods of violence in Costa Rica during the late 19th century, in the 20th century, in 1917, 1919, and of course 1948, the last time we had a major war in Costa Rica. For the last two times we had to worry about. Since then, however, Costa Rica has had 15 more presidential elections, and they've all been uninterrupted since 1948, which is the most stable in the entire region. So that goes. in your plane engine, you might damage it. So that talks about Costa Rica's history. So as you can tell, so that talks about Costa Rica's history. Um, thank you, George. But yeah, there just isn't a lot of talk about Costa Rica's history because it's actually not very much happened in Costa Rica, surprisingly. And also, speaking back in 1948, it also led to the abolishment of the military. So that's also probably another reason why there was a lot of stability because without need of a military, they could spend on other stuff, and that's ironically instead of replacing the military is actually the public force, which is internal security. It's basically a police force. Yeah, there just isn't a lot. There's more to talk about with Costa Rica with its natural scenery and stuff. But yeah, the scenery here is just gorgeous today. So to our left is actually Panama's highest point. This is Volcan Barro. This is Panama's highest point at over 11,000 feet. So that is the tallest peak in all of Panama. We still haven't crossed the border of Costa Rica, but the main reason is Costa Rica is actually kind of small. So that's why we're not crossed the border just yet. But once we go to Mike Papa Charlie Hotel, we'll cross the border into Costa Rica. Hey, Bomber, good to see you. Well, hello, my dude. So I think I came up with the schedule for next week's streams. For next week, I think I got a plan for next week. I think next week's stream is going to be out of Quito for Firefly Air for a virtual airline stream. We'll go from Quito and we'll make our way over to Bogota for our first stop into Bogota. Should be a pretty nice flight. And actually, I think, and then for the last one, we're going to go from Bogota and we're going to actually do a flight over to a more difficult airport. We're actually going to fly to Sierra Victor Mike Delta from Bogota, which is going to be a pretty difficult flight. It's going to be a very short runway, 5,300 feet. But a very difficult airport to land. It's right in the middle of the mountain valley. It should be a beautiful landing. But that's what we're going to do on Wednesday. We'll take the 737-700 for that one, because we need something to fit into that other runway. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll be going through Nicaragua. On Friday, we'll go from Liberia, and we'll travel our way through, we'll make our way over through Lake Coquiboca, make our way over to Managua, and then finally into the city of Leon for our last landing in Nicaragua. And then on next Sunday will be Honduras. We'll be making our way over to Honduras. We'll make our way over through Tegucigalpa and San Pedro Sula. And that'll prepare us for, in 2 weeks, the trip to El Salvador and Guatemala. But yeah, we're going to do a lot of Central America pretty quickly. Quickly go through it. But yeah, we're going to quickly go through all that region. So, Central America wouldn't be too bad. And then, once I get back from vacation, then of course, the last stream before I leave is going to be on the 19th, I believe, or maybe not, depending on my schedule. I don't know when I'm going to leave, but I'm going to probably do Belize a bit. Maybe I do it on the day before I leave and do Belize as well. Prepare us for the next country being Mexico, which is going to be a big one, and I will have to use the airliner for some legs, mainly with the flight to Mexico City, of course. Then I'll do a GA leg from Mexico City over to Puerto Vallarta, which should be a really nice GA flight. And then fly away from Puerto Vallarta and fly my way up to Monterrey and Chihuahua. We'll make our way up there too. And make our way up to the United States, and slowly make our way to the United States. And we'll probably have in Phoenix, probably. We're going to go Phoenix, Sedona, Flagstaff, the Grand Canyon, of course, and we'll make our way over to Las Vegas. Should be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a mixture between GA and airliner stuff going forward with some of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just set the 1,500 feet. I'm going to send down the 1,500 feet. Yeah, we're going to head to Costa Rica on our next leg. We're still in Panama. I thought it would be a good time to... What a really cool scenery here. Yeah, Central America is really underappreciated in the sim. I know a lot of people like to fly like Mexico and stuff, but I mean, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala are all great GA areas to fly. They're all fantastic. They're all great areas for general aviation. Can't go wrong with those regions to fly in. Ah, good to hear. So there isn't much news going on in the sim, sadly. I know Murph's channel, and since I'm a part of his virtual airline stuff, for Murph's channel, he'll be back tomorrow for another tour of the Tour de France miniseries. So he'll be flying from Lyon to Marseille. Should be a beautiful flight. I've actually flown around this region in the sim plenty of times. Beautiful area around the side of the Alps. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Fly through much of the Alps, fly through much of the valleys and stuff on the banks of the Rion River. Marseille is definitely a really cool city to visit. Oh yeah, Dev Day probably. Yeah, that's probably important. But here is pretty big news though for our airline though. Oh, here's some pretty big news. Actually, wait, there is actually a bit of big news. Um, there's actually two really big ones. Um, First is Escoder Designs, and they released a new Denver International Airport. Which is, if you guys don't know about Denver Airport, it's the largest airport in the United States by land area. It serves over 77 million passengers. Denver's, by the way, if you guys don't know, Denver is absolutely enormous at Denver. And I mean, it needs to be big, considering Denver is just, when I think of hub in the Western United States, I think Denver. High altitudes, mean long runways, and this airport is just massive. It features custom model interiors for all airport buildings, full 3D interiors, light interiors for the Jefferson Terminal, GA buildings and control towers, full realistic 3D people, custom jetways, high quality ground textures, and a fully functioning airport, including support for third-party add-ons. Man, this thing looks really good. This thing looks great. Updated layout and optimized performance. For $22 US, if you do lock flight in Denver, this actually is going to be a really nice airport for guys who like to fly around Denver. So yeah, I'm quite happy for that. I'm glad someone's going to make another Denver scenery. That being said, the one airport I want people to make is, if they can make it for Denver, why hasn't someone done it for Dallas Fort Worth? And I'm not even a Texan, but please someone make a good Dallas Fort Worth scenery. Sorry. Uh, but the other news is AD Builds is just teased their new preview of their A350, which is going to come out. They're going to have a more of a live stream, but this plane might come out either during the late part of MSFS 2020 or the early part of Flight Sim 2024. So they're going to work on their A350, which is, if you guys don't know, A350 is the newest and latest Airbus airliner. It's basically the Airbus equivalent to the 787 Dreamliner. And man, it looks really interesting to see the good old um so this is Chigui Lagoon and all that. But I wanted to fly here because this is one of the more scenic areas of Panama. Definitely a very scenic area of the country. There's definitely some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, for a virtual airline, I got great news. We almost have reached our XP goal for this. For us, we're just 2.98. I mean, I'm pretty excited for what Mert's gonna reveal on Wednesday. Where we're gonna go next. Whatever I'm praying, I'm hoping it's not going to be. I hope it's not going to be somewhere in in the Northeast United States. I don't think we like. I just hope it's somewhere interesting. Um, Canada would be interesting since we don't really have a hub in Canada, and we got more than a few Canadian members. Southeast Asia would be really cool. You know, we only got like 2 hubs around East Asia. It would be nice to have Southeast Asia get represented. But yeah, pretty interesting. Here we go, guys. Yeah, good area here. What a nice area to fly. So yeah, I'm pretty interested to see what we pick on Wednesday. Yeah, beautiful area, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. For me, I'm doing quite well. Um, I went into, I actually stayed at my brother's house last night since my parents are gone. So I got some flying to make up for tonight, for last night today. So that's what I'm probably gonna be doing today after the stream. There's a new achievement. I'm gonna get that completed pretty quickly. Quite a bit of stuff going on here this week. Um, yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff to do. I gotta make up. Another thing I'm also praying maybe with the news is we finally the other thing I'm praying to, for the news this week is going to be, are we going to move the West United States hub at some point? Because I know I don't know where air economy is coming with all that stuff, but I'm thinking I want to get a newer West US hub. Maybe that ends up becoming a new bonus one, but it just needs to be moved. I mean, I like the hub, and I'm gonna miss flying out of Lake Tahoe. It's a beautiful area, but I'm ready to move on to something a bit bigger, especially with all the 777s and the 777, the A300, MD-11, as well as the updated 74 and 78. Like, we need something for the bigger planes to take out in and out from, because Tahoe is just too small for it, sadly. Maybe Las Vegas would be. I'm hoping maybe Vegas ends up getting made the hub, which would be fantastic. If not, Reno would be really good too. Reno would be a fantastic airport too. Yeah, beautiful area here, guys. Oh, area. Type out one more thing. My Discord beeping. Well, that was because I was on streamer mode. I forgot to turn back on. Apparently, some guy was spamming in the chat. So apparently, someone got attacked by a bot, and that's why it kept beeping. So once we go here, we're going to turn left and head to our first airport at Mike Papa Charlie Hotel. Um, yeah, there isn't too much notes for Costa Rica in this one, so we don't have to worry about too many notes. But yeah, I'm going to be visiting Costa Rica actually later this year. I'm going to be docked at Limon, Costa Rica. Limon, Costa Rica. This is a very, which is Costa Rica's seventh largest city. It's a very popular cruise port. For a lot of cruise ships, they make their way up to there. I'm gonna be sailing down the Panama Canal stuff on uh on Royal Caribbean. So I think what we're doing in Gabon, Costa Rica, I think we're probably doing the canopy tour stuff, rainforest tram and aerial tour. But yeah, we're gonna be visiting the rainforest and stuff, which should be really cool. Costa Rica should be absolutely gorgeous. And then of course in Panama, I'll be checking out the Fort Saint. I'm gonna check out the forts there, Fort San Lorenzo and the canal. Really cool. So I'm gonna check out the Panama Canal. But yeah, I really want to check out the new Panama City though, because I know the new Panama City would be very cool to visit. Really cool stuff. So yeah, what kind of news do you guys want to actually hear? I know there's quite a lot of stuff I want to um, know about for the news. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. Here we are, guys. We're about to reach our first stop of the day. We're just going to be going for another 17 miles. here we are at my Papa Charlie Hotel. Once we get to after we land here and take off again, we'll talk about geography and the flora and fauna. We'll talk about playing notes for Costa Rica once we get our way over to San Jose for stop number. If you guys want to join in, we are in the Southeast Asia server. Yeah, what a beautiful area here to visit. So. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what we pick. Kind of disappointed. So. So, here we are, guys. My Papa Charlie Hotel will be our first stop of the day. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I just haven't got too much sleep. I am interested in getting that Piper Cub. Murph was showing off the Piper Cub on Friday. That thing looks really, really cool. The classic aircraft simulations Piper Cub. But the thing is, it's so slow. That's the thing. The Piper Cub is such a. It's old plane. I get it. It's an old plane back in the 30s, but man, it's still a little slow. Yep. Showing it. The airport's right over here. Thankfully for this airplane, it doesn't need much of a runway. It can take off anywhere. Yeah, the Piper Cubs where a lot of students learn their tail draggers. Exactly, Mongo. It's a very popular. It still is a popular training aircraft, even to this day. The good old Piper Cub, you can't go wrong. A lot of military pilots also train the Cubs too. Those who are ground looped and who those that will. Red one. Nice. Yeah, we'll stop here for just a little bit if you guys want to join on in. We are in the Southeast Asian server, and we're back here at Mike Papa Charlie Hotel. It's our first stop of the day. So we'll sit right here for just a bit if you guys want to join on in. We're going to be prepared for our second leg, and we're going to be going to San Jose. This is going to be a much longer leg than the last one. It's going to be about 100 nautical mile leg across to San Jose, Costa Rica. So get a bit going, and up here we're going to go at 12,000. Sorry about it. I'm still a little tired. Get too much sleep. Okay. Sorry about that. So next we're going to talk about Costa Rica's geography next as we climb up to our cruise altitude, 12,000 feet. Um, Now, geographically wise, Costa Rica's geography borders the Caribbean Sea to the east, Pacific Ocean to the west, Nicaragua to the northwest, and then Panama to the southeast. Its area is 51,000 kilometers, which is slightly smaller than the European country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's located on the Caribbean plate. Uh, there have been many earthquakes in Costa Rica during its geological landscape. In terms of its physical geography, there are about 79 islands in Costa Rica, the most remote being Cocos Island. The largest being Isla Calero. And then in terms of mountain ranges, it's separated by the Cordillera Central and the Cordillera de Talamanca, which forms the spine of the country. And its extreme point, the highest point in Costa Rica is Colero Chilodillo, which actually Chirripo is the highest point in Costa Rica at 12,536 feet. For the climate, it's basically tropical climate year in, year out, with the hot season being December to April and the rainy season during May to November. And it has a lot of microclimates in the region due to its elevation. So that's some basic geography. However, one of the most unique things about Costa Rica has been its flora and fauna. It is a hotspot of it. Despite being a small landmass, it um it has the greatest biodiversity in all of Central America. It contains 5% of the world's animal species, including 12,000 species of plants, 117 native species of trees, 441 species of amphibians and reptiles, 838 species of birds, 232 species of mammals, and 181 species of freshwater fish. Some of the country's most more endangered species are the harpy eagle, giant anteater, golden toad, and the jaguar. It's also There's also other animals that live here too, like the keel-billed toucan, the national bird of Belize, the scarlet macaw, and more. But this area, the Costa Rica's got a lot of great animal species here, and the picture you see here is a good old tree frog. The good old tree frog. The red-eyed tree frog, and you guys know this animal, it's one of the most recognizable frogs in the world due to its unique, distinct red eyes and bright coloration. So, talks about the geography of Costa Rica and the biodiversity. And I think we're going to see Chiripo up there, which is the highest point in Costa Rica shortly. Here we go, guys. Cruise altitude at 12,000. Look at the view up here. Just crazy view. Now, no, I am not going to open the doors. Thank you very much. I'm not. I did it one time in Patagonia back in, and it did not turn out so. So we're going to be taking this bad boy to Costa Rica. So so incredible view. This is all the mountain range, by the way. All of this is controlled by the different Cordilleras, and basically that's just one big old mountain range. There's incredible views here from up here. 12,000 feet, and you got all this sea. Easy go. Maybe I should have taken something a little faster. Maybe I should have taken something like the stage 2 at least. Or something like that. Or stage 1 at least. That would be better. So this is Chiripo right here. There's the tallest peak in Costa Rica. This is Mount Chiripo. Um, so the next part about Costa Rica to cover is going to be the economy of Costa Rica. So economically, Costa Rica is economically stable with moderate inflation. It's many foreign companies like to go here to Costa Rica due to its free trade zones, where they benefit from investment tax incentives. And much of it comes from the United States, where companies such as Dell, HP, Intel, Dell, HP, Bosch, DHL, and IBM. Well, 5% in its GDP in 2016, 5% was generated by agriculture, 18.6% by industry, and by almost 3/4 by services. Um, High quality healthcare is provided to the government at low cost to users. Housing is very affordable, and it has a high quality education system with 97% of its people being literate. And much of Costa Rica's sources government with renewables, and it's even undertaking reforestation as well. So making it truly a really beautiful country. They're growing with the environment. Definitely pretty cool stuff for its economy. Then for tourism, Costa Rica had 2.9 million foreign visitors in 2016, up 10% for 2015. It is responsible for 5% of the GDP of the country. Most people visit Costa Rica from the United States with about 1 million visitors, followed by Europe with 434,000 visitors. Most of the country goes either through Tamarindo for the beach, 17% through Liberia, 18% from Arenal, 16% to San Jose, while 18% choose Manuel Antonio. But one of the big reasons why there's a lot of tourism in Costa Rica is because it is an eco-tourist destination due to its natural rainforest scenery. So it brings a lot to the table for ecotourism. For example, there's trail, the Camino de la Costa Rica, which allows travelers to walk across the country from the Atlantic Pacific coast. And it's also a very competitive country for tourism, ranked 44 for the world for tourism, and second among Latin America after Mexico. And it's one of the world's best ethical destinations on the globe. It's a very cool place to visit if you're a tourist. Got tons of great scenery stuff. All right. This here in front of us is Costa Rica's highest point. This is Chiripo National Park in Cerro Chirpo. So this is the highest point in all of Costa Rica. So we'll be flying near it shortly. Pretty impressive mountain peaks in front of us. Once we turn here, once we turn to our next waypoint, we'll go to San Jose in 44 nautical miles. So a bit of information about Cerros Chirpo. It was named after the land of eternal war by indigenous Costa Ricans due to the many lakes and streams around the mountain. It has high endemism and extremely high biodiversity. The great height is also evidenced by its topographic prominence, and you can actually see across the country from the Pacific Ocean to the Caribbean Sea on a clear day. And it's the 37th most prominent peak in the world. And it's part of the national park of Chirpo National Park. It has 5 different ecosystems, including tropical wet forest, pre-montane tropical wet forest, lower montane wet forest, montane wet forest, and subalpine wet forest. Most of the park consists of primary rainforest and cloud forest. And got all sorts of wildlife and animals that live in this park. Pretty cool national park. I think next week I'm probably going to take the Vilga next week. I'm going to take the Double Under and the Vilga within the next 2 weeks. Within the next 2 streams next week. Take more bushcraft for this one because I think this would be good scenery for the bush plane. Beautiful national park. Just incredible scene. Costa Rica. I can't wait to visit here in real life and check out the rainforest and stuff. Once we turn right, we'll talk a little bit about San Jose's Costa Rica's capital city of San Jose. Turn here. Now let's go ahead and talk about Costa Rica. Costa Rica's capital and largest city, San Jose, is going to come up within 44 nautical miles. But San Jose, Costa Rica, don't confuse it for San Jose, California. But San Jose is the capital, largest city in Costa Rica, in the capital of its own province. It's the center of the country, located in the Midwest of Central Valley. It is Costa Rica's seat of national government, focal point for the political and economic activity and transportation for Costa Rica. This area has an estimated population of 333,000 people. However, its metropolitan area is at 2 million people. It was founded in 1736 by the Order of Cabrillo de Leon, and it grew during the 18th century through its use of colonial planning and is historically been a city of strategic importance. It's home to many of the city's most famous landmarks, including the National Museum of Costa Rica, the National Theater, and La Sabana National Park. And of course, it's served by one of the busiest airports in Latin America, Juan Santa Maria International. Well known among Latin American cities for its high quality life, security, level globalization, environmental performance, public service, and recognized institutions. And it's one of the safest and least violent cities in all Central America. So it's a very historic city, and it's very safe to live in. And of course, landmarks, you always have the National Theater of Costa Rica, built in 1897, and it's considered to be the finest historic building in the capital, featuring lavish Italian furnishings in its interior, as well as the National Museum of Costa Rica. And more. So it's a beautiful area. Great city to visit. Too bad I won't be visiting on our trip, but if we ever do go back to Costa Rica, I would like to visit. Sorry for the yawn. I'm still just. So here's the coast. There's the San Jose metropolitan area right in front of us. Chicago and then San Jose itself. So I'll be dropping out to pretty soon, and we'll drop to 5,000 feet. Then we'll fly over downtown. And then, of course, the airport we'll be landing here today is going to be at Juan Santa Maria International Airport. It's the main international gateway to Costa Rica, serving San Jose. It was actually named after Costa Rica's national hero, Juan Santa Maria, a drummer boy who died in 1856 against William Walker, an American filibuster. It's the biggest and busiest airport in Costa Rica and second busiest in Central America after Tocumen International Panama City. It's currently a hub for Avianca Costa Rica, Costa Rica Green Airways, Sansa Airlines, and Volaris Costa Rica, and a focus city for Avianca's El Salvador and Copa Airlines. For many years, it was the country's only international airport gateway until the opening of Liberia's Guanacaste Airport. However, it has direct flights to North America, Central America, and Europe. But it also serves cities in this. But this airport in particular also serves South America and the Caribbean. And it can handle planes as big as an A350 and 777. Has flown out here too. It features for Central America destinations: San Salvador, Panama City, Guatemala City, and Managua. North American destinations like Atlanta, Los Angeles, Miami, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, Montreal, Toronto. South America, Bogota, Buenos Aires. European destinations such as Paris, Charles de Gaulle, Zurich, and Frankfurt. So tons of destinations. This airport is a very important one for Central America. Not nearly as many destinations as Panama City, obviously, but still a very important airport for this region of the world. So we're going to go ahead and descend to 7,500 feet. Yeah, beautiful area too. This is gorgeous. Costa Rica is pretty. There's a lot of beautiful areas in Central America, and Costa Rica is definitely one of them. We're about to enter the city of San Jose, Costa Rica. Here it is, San Jose, Costa Rica. Very pretty area. Absolutely stunning area. Hey, I am tired, George. I just woke up like 6 in the morning. I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep, so I am tired. I'm sorry, George. I'm just tired. I am. But I mean, we still got one more leg left to go. I'll muster up enough energy for one more leg. But thank you for being considerate, though. I do appreciate it. It's hard. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, probably sounds like a good nap. Maybe a nap wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, this is San Jose, Costa Rica, guys. San Jose, Costa Rica, the capital, largest city in the entire country. Well, San Jose itself only has 330,000 inhabitants. The metropolitan areas are over 2 million, where most of the population lives. Now, of course, there's another Costa Rica airport. This is Tobias Bolanos, but that's mainly for domestic stuff. We're going to land at the International Gateway to Costa Rica. Oh, there's Mongo. Nice. Hey, I mean, at least it's relaxing. Get to enjoy the beautiful scenery Costa Rica has to offer. Costa Rica's got great scenery here. But I think, for me, my favorite Central American country for scenery is gotta be Guatemala. Guatemala's gonna have some incredible scenery. Oh. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Your co-pilot fell asleep. I didn't know you were a real-life pilot, George. Yep. Yep. Here it is, Costa Rica. I mean, there's actually some really good freeware for this area, by the way. There's the National Stadium, and there's the lungs of the city, the largest park in the city. There's the National Stadium, Costa Rica. Oh, nice. Oh, just a PPL. Hey, that's awesome. A PPL. I want to get there one day. It's not easy for people with autism to get a PPL, but I would like to get one at some point. But yeah, that's awesome. Ultralights, that's great. Yeah, ultralights would be a pretty good plane to get into. There's, for example, you can get a lot of these ultralights for very cheap. Oh, for example, you can get there's all sorts of ultralights. You can get a I know there's one of the Sim, the Drifter, which is one of my absolute favorite little ultralights. Yeah, I need. Yeah, to be fair, this doesn't have photogrammetry and stuff. Yeah, I'd like to have some ultralights. Um, there's some really good ones, like for different kinds of planes. So here it is, Santa Maria Airport. After this, guys, though, we only have one last leg of the trip. Once we land here, we'll take a quick little break, just to chill out a bit, and then we'll go to Liberia. That'd be the last leg of the stream. Yeah, this has been a really enjoyable trip. I really am enjoying this flight. I mean, this would make a really solid hub for Central America. Juan Santa Maria. Yeah. Ultralights are quite cheaper than GA. You can land smaller fields. You can do that EA40. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, ultralights are really versatile planes. For sure. That's those are all definitely great advantages. Here we go, guys. Santa Maria Airport in Costa Rica. Absolute gem of a Central America airport. I mean, this would be a cool place to have our virtual airline have a hub. Is around the Central America region. You got some good GA scenery. You don't need to make it a massive hub, and it can connect to both North and South America. It'd be a great midway point. Oh, we'll just stop in the runway. Just stop. No, oh. Ah, balls. Well, look what I just did. Ah, balls. Ah, balls. That's Mervis A. So yeah, this is Juan Santa Maria Airport here in Costa Rica. That'll be a pretty scenic major airport. Got the volcanoes around. Um, Definitely a really cool place to. If you guys want to check out my Discord, I told you it is dangerous quite tired. Yeah. At least the good news, this is a simulator. If this was real life, I would be dead. So there's a difference. Still though, it's still not a good idea to fly tired. Absolutely. Don't have to tell me about it. Yeah, not dead. Oh, not dead. Thankfully, this is just simulator. If I were... Well, we got one last flight left, and that is to Liberia. So this one is about 89 nautical miles to the final stop. So go ahead and get going to complete the rest of the trip. And we're off. Another benefit of the kit boxes is going to be its takeoff performance. You can take it off. You fly sport aircraft, airplane. Oh, okay, I see it. Battling aircraft. is a folding wing ultralight. It's basically like a little bush plane ultralight. It can be used for the backcountry, basically. Features a stuff to do afterwall, tubing, rudder, elevation. Got your hardware, floor, seat, fire tank hose and stuff. That's their F1 UL base kit. And its empty weight is 263 pounds. But yeah, it'd be a nice little cheap little plane, but you can take it in the back country. Apparently, there's one that's like 263 pounds. With a 38 horsepower engine. Yeah, there's some cheap ultralights that would be really cool to get in my hand. Along with me is Mongo7. He's also with us. Thank you so much, Mongo. Yeah, ultralight would be good, but eventually what I want to do is eventually get from an ultralight into one of these bush planes, because I like to have versatility. Get one of these planes, because that's what I would like to get one day. Is that way I can take off from anywhere? There's incredible scenery here. Awesome. Just. Oh, nice, the Aeroprat. Yeah, the Aeroprat's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, the Aeroprat. That's right. This was one of Cockspur's original planes. Yeah, this was Cockspur's original plane. But that was before they were. That was their first plane to sim, was the Aeroprat. And since then, they made the C510 Mustang and the Phenom, which are both pretty good planes. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's right. You fought that one in real life, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, it has some few issues, but I mean, it's not bad. Especially this was their, back then, this was their first product. I suppose they've gotten better since. It can be better, but at least, I mean, you can also be much. let's go ahead and talk more about my slideshow for a bit. Costa Rica's government, well, it's actually very stable. Historically, it's been pretty stable. But Costa Rica's government is a presidential democratic republic with a multi-party system. The executive power is exercised by the president and their cabinet. The legislative power is vested in the legislative assembly. The judiciary operates independently from both executive and legislature, but it is still involved in political process. However, one of the more unique things about Costa Rica's government is its pacifism, as it abolished its military force in 1948, and it was a part of the Article 12 in the Costa Rican Constitution in 1949. In fact, because of its stable democracy and stuff, Costa Rica is actually very stable with its government compared to literally almost every other Central American government. So it's been very stable. So that's why Costa Rica has been very, very stable with its government thing. So, pretty important stuff. But then we got to talk about Costa Rica's culture for a bit. So Costa Rica was the point where Mesoamerican, South American native cultures met. The northwest of the country was the southernmost point of the Nahuatl cultural influence met the Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century, whereas the southern portions had the Chibcha influences. As a result of the immigration of Spaniards, their 16th century Spanish culture and its evolution marked everyday life and culture until today, with the language and Catholic religion as primary influences. Dance-oriented genres have enjoyed increasingly by older rather than younger people. And Costa Rica is one of the world's happiest countries because, and one of the most, and it makes sense considering one of their most recognizable phrases is, "Pura vida," pure life. So it's one of the world's very happiest countries to live in. It's Costa Rica. It does have a vibrant culture as well. So, Costa Rican cuisine is a blend of the Native American, Spanish, African, and many other cuisine origins. Dishes such as the tamale and many others made of corn are the most representative of indigenous inhabitants. Spaniards brought in many new ingredients, spices, and domestic animals, and later on African influence with its mixed flavors. So as a result, Costa Rica's cuisine is quite varied. One of which is main dish of the national dish, the gallo pinto, which is basically rice and beans stir-fried together to create a speckled appearance, and usually served for breakfast along with scrambled or fried eggs and sour cream and cheese. It's also the similar dish to Nicaragua. They also have, for lunch, they have casado, which is mixed lunch with rice and beans served with either fish, pork, chicken. You have chicharron, fried crispy pork, rum. And of course, in Costa Rica, coffee is very important here in Costa Rica, and it's served with very high quality coffee. Agua dulce is a very common drink made of raw cane sugar, dissolved in hot water. And more. So they have quite a few diverse cuisines and stuff making Costa Rica. In terms of sports, Costa Rica entered the Summer Olympics for the first time in 1936. They currently have won 4 Olympic medals, and they're both by sisters Sylvia and Claudia Pohl for swimming, including 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze medals. The most popular sport in Costa Rica is football, and their national team has played for 5 FIFA World Cup tournaments. And they played their best performance in the World Cup in 2014 when they reached the quarterfinals of the FIFA World Cup in 2014, which was pretty impressive for a nation like Costa Rica. But their best performance as a national team was in 2002 when they were runner-ups of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is basically North America's um, national league. And also, women's volleyball has been very successful in Central America as they're one of the top teams there, as well as a women's national team in beach volleyball. So that covers the sports of Costa Rica. Just go. So guys, we're just 68 nautical miles from our final stop at Liberia. Yeah, guys, I know this week's coming up, so one of the really big things coming up for. Okay, we got a new rival. We're gonna make our way. So one of the really cool things for next week's plan. So I think in Nicaragua we're actually gonna go through Lago Boca as well as going through um, the different mountains, mainly with Volcan Concepcion and all that. We're gonna be checking. I'm really excited to check out Nicaragua on next Friday. And then for Honduras, we'll also check out Tegucigalpa and Tecate Airport. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Tecate, as well as San Pedro Sula. Or maybe the alternative would be instead of Honduras, it would be El Salvador first. Maybe that might be cross over to El Salvador. And once we make up there, we're gonna go make our way through Honduras and then go to Guam. That make me. Oh, Murph's streaming on Sunday. Okay, definitely checking that out once we get done. We'll raid Murph after this. This is Chone's Eternal Rainforest area. Beautiful area here in Costa Rica. Absolutely stunning. In terms about animals of Costa Rica and some of the really cool stuff, go ahead and talk about some pretty fun facts about Costa Rica. So, more than 25% of the country is protected in national parks and reserves, which makes sense considering it's home to a very wide range of wildlife and animals living there. Nearly all energy consumed in Costa Rica is generated by renewable resources, whether that be solar, hydropower, wind. Local diners in Costa Rica are called sodas. That's what they call local diners. There's 12 different ecosystems all across Costa Rica, and finally the national animal is the sloth. Now, if you guys aren't aware about the sloths, I'm a biologist, by the way. I graduated with a biology degree. Basically, sloths are part of the clade of Xenarthia, which also includes the anteater and armadillos. They're known for their slow movement. Tree sloths spend most of their lives hanging upside down in trees that travel rainforests across Central and South America, and are mostly closely related to anteaters. And there's 6 different sloth species in 2 genera: the 3-toed and 2-toed sloth genera. However, sloths weren't always like that. In fact, there used to be ground sloths that could reach the size of elephants, one of those being Megatherium. But those became extinct about 12,000 years ago. And sloths are named that way because of their very low metabolism and deliberate movements, and their slowness permits their low energy diet of leaves and avoids detection by predator or toxic cats that hunt by sight. They're almost helpless by ground, but you'd be surprised they're actually faster in the water. Surprised they can actually swim. So. So yeah, they have very low metabolic rates, even though less than most mammals. Also, their fur has symbiotic algae, which actually is why sometimes sloths have their skin's green, which provides camouflage as well for predatory jaguars, ocelots, and eagles. So you'd be surprised what kind of animals actually live in a biosphere. Yes. And you'd be surprised, sloths are actually really good swimmers. They can actually reach speeds of 13 meters per minute. It's actually a lot for an animal that usually moves very slow on the ground. And they can and get this, they can even hold their breaths to up to 40 minutes underwater. 40 minutes underwater for a sloth. Yeah, that's crazy. Which is pretty fun to think about. So they're way better swimmers than they are on the ground. And sloths mainly eat leaves. Pretty interesting stuff. In Costa Rica, the majority of reported sloth deaths in Costa Rica are actually due to electrical lines and poachers. Yeah, that's about the sloths. Pretty interesting animals. Yeah, 18 minutes for humans, almost twice as long. What are your thoughts? comes to show you, nature has her own ways of coming through with all sorts of stuff. This area is just gorgeous area. So we're just 44 miles, nautical miles out of our final stop here in Liberia. So, but there's more animals than that in Costa Rica. Trust me, Costa Rica's got a lot of animals and wildlife. There's actually 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites for biodiversity: Palamaca Mountain Range, the Coco National Park, and Guanacaste Conservation Area. But there's all sorts of animal species here. One of the really cool species as well is that there's about over 1,200 species of butterflies and at least 8,000 species of moths that live in Costa Rica, which means that 10% of the known butterfly species worldwide actually reside here in Costa Rica. But some of the most impressive common butterflies and moths include the Bella swallowtail. Then you have the amber daggerwing butterfly. And of course, one of the most unique butterflies is the glasswing, which is known for its transparent wings, which allows it to camouflage itself without coloration. There's also other insects here too, including the stingless bees and various ant species like the leafcutter ants and army ants. In terms of amphibian species, of course, you guys all know the red-eyed tree frog. There's also several poison dart frogs that live here, the smoky jungle frog, and of course, for toads, you have the giant toad. Well, then mammal species, of course, you have the howler monkey. Um, and of course, it's also home to the infamous vampire bats. Vampire bats make their home here, and they comprise over more than half of all the mammal species in Costa Rica. Vampire bats live here. And of course, the largest New World bat, the spectral bat, the largest New World. Large fauna can still be there, like deer and jaguar live here. And of course, you also have the giant anteater, which really interesting animals in their own right. In fact, fun fact about the giant anteater, they're actually quite dangerous. You don't want to mess with the anteaters. They can be very dangerous. They've actually been known to attack people. They're big old claws. Which, by the way, those claws are meant for digging out ants out of their burrows, out of their mounds. And their tongue is really long too, 18-inch tongue, and they can lick up to 160 times per minute, 3 times a second. Yeah, they can be quite dangerous. They've been known to attack people and dogs. Don't mess with it. And of course, for bird species, 941 different bird species, including the national bird of Costa Rica, the clay-colored thrush, or known by its local name, Higuero. So yeah, lots of animal species live here in Costa Rica. Very impressive stuff. We're gonna go ahead and descend. We're gonna descend down to 2,000 feet. Then we're gonna go ahead and go down 1,000. So the place we're gonna end up here today is going to be Liberia, um, Costa Rica. It's the largest city of its own province of Guanacaste. Liberia's population is 56,899. It is a major center for the country's tourism industry. It was founded back in 1836. And it was mainly held to a lot of the Costa Rican ties of the city of Punta Arenas. However, this area really grew for tourism thanks to the Pan America Highway, as well as becoming a major center for agriculture and stuff. And a lot of people like to go to become a tourist for Pacific Coast beaches of Guanacaste. And I mean, there's quite a stuff for tourists. A lot of them pass through places with beaches like Playa de Coco, Playa Tamarindo, or the Papagayo Peninsula. There's also an African safari attraction in Africa Mia, which is 4 kilometers south. You also have the Rincon de la Villa National Park. But the main thing is, it's been very much for tourism. And finally, our last stop is Guanacaste Airport. This airport is one of the 4 major international airports in Costa Rica. This is the second busiest. It has a single runway, 9,022-foot runway that can handle the Boeing 747. This airport was pretty newer. I think it was believed to open in the 70s and 80s. It became an international airport in 1995. It currently features flights to destinations in the Americas and Europe, including U.S. destinations like New York, L.A., Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Miami. Canadian destinations like Toronto and Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, and then finally European flights, London, Gatwick, and Zurich. that's going to conclude flights for Costa Rica. So we'll be flying over the town very shortly, flying over the town. Then we'll fly to the airport. And we'll wrap up the stream here. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this flight. So, hey, good to see you, Devil Dude. Nice seeing you here, my dude. Yep, we're getting the new hub very shortly. We're gonna get it. I think we're gonna get the target tonight. I think. Um, I'm really hoping, Devil Dude, that we're gonna get the new hub. I heard that we might have a new hub in North America. I'm hearing rumors. I hope it's not another East U.S. hub. We already have Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's already really good for us. Why we don't? I don't know. I heard rumors we might have it in the Northeast United States. And I say I don't want the Northeast United States. That'd be a terrible idea. I heard they might be somewhere in North America this time, Double Dude. I'm hoping if it's the United States, I'm hoping it's Texas or Oklahoma in that region. I do not want another hub in the Eastern United States, like Northeast, like Boston. Like why do we even need a Northeast U.S. hub when we got Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's kind of a thing. Don't need another one. So outside that, though, the other hub I'd like to see outside Texas, Oklahoma might be Canada. Because we do have more than a few prominent community members in that region, Devil Dude. Like, we have Typhon here, Super Typhon, Nighthawk. He's a very prominent one in our community. We also got other flight simmers throughout the MSFS community. Captain Arash, Border's Canadian. Arash is one. Maple Aviation. We got a few Canadian people around the flight sim world, so I think Canada would be a really good spot for a hub. Yeah, the middle of the United States would be perfect, honestly. Like, like, like we have one in the west and we have one in the east. We have to have something in the center to make the other two a lot more connected. So, I'm hoping that if we had to pick between Central United States, it would be Oklahoma City, OKC, Dallas Love, Fort Alliance, Austin Bergstrom, San Antonio, and Houston. But mainly it'll be probably if we had to pick five, it'd be OKC, Dallas Love, Austin Bergstrom, San Antonio, and Houston Intercontinental. And there's a reason I did left out DFW, and that's because not only is it a super busy airport, but even then, there's no good payware. The freeware scenery for DFW is not very good, and there's no good payware for it. Dallas Love, yes, it's smaller, but Dallas Love at least has good payware options. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it'll get better once we have the economy system. Once we have the economy system, it'll get a lot less boring. We definitely need an economy system soon. That's the thing I'm waiting for is the the aero economy. That's what I'm waiting for because that would be super important because that will let us know what kind of missions we can operate, what kind of things we can do. So yeah, I think yeah. I'm hoping if it ends up being the case for Central United States, I hope Austin becomes the hub because yes, it may be it's and not just because I'm named Austin. No, it's because I think Austin's so underused by the virtual airline community. I just think it would be perfect for it. Though Dallas Love would be interesting, and so would Oklahoma City. All three of those would be Dallas Love with its rich history. Um, and the fact we can bring this airport back to being a hub in the state of Texas again. We can return Dallas Love back to being the hub it used to be decades ago for major airlines. And then obviously Oklahoma City, you got the great indie build scenery for it. So, but yeah, I think those three would be really. Though can if it ended up being Canada, I think my five I see more pick is Montreal, Winnipeg, Calgary, Quebec, and I'm thinking Whitehorse because I mean it'd be the most Whitehorse would be the most interesting pick. Like it'd be the most out there, being completely in the northwest, being right in the Yukon Valley. But I mean, its natural scenery would make it perfect for GA. So it would be interesting. And of course, outside of that would be Central America here, Mexico and Central America, between Guadalajara, Mexico City, Cancun, Guatemala, San Salvador. I mean, you got some really strong options. Yeah, DFW is stupid. Yeah, DFW is big. Now, Dallas Love would not be much of a problem. Love wouldn't be an issue with our virtual airline. It's DFW that's the big deal. Because DFW has so many virtual airlines, and that's just the last 10. There are probably way more airlines that operate at DFW. Compare that to Dallas Love, um, which is the historic airport there. Dallas Love only has two other virtual airlines: Virtual Airways and the other one's Parasox, which is Scruffy Team BA. So I don't think that would be an issue. I don't think it would be an issue to operate at Love. Love, I think, would be a pretty good site for it. And I've flown out of Dallas Love a few times. It is quite a nice little airport. It's a nice small airport. And remember, one of the other things about Dallas Love is the good thing about Dallas Love is most of the destinations is going to be in the United States or in basically we're going to be as far north as Canada and as far south as Quito, which is going to be well. All of them is going to be well within a range of a boat of a 737. So we don't have to worry about needing the wide body points very much, which is actually going to be a huge advantage for them. So that means the small size of Love won't matter that much. And Love in the past has operated these 747s. So yeah, I think Love would be good. Dallas Love, 7,000 or 8,000. Actually, Dallas Love's longest runway is 1-3 right, 3-1 left, 8,700 feet. It's 8,700 feet. No for the new hub. Okay. I guess you want something a little bigger then. I guess if you want something bigger, it's got to be Oklahoma City or Austin because OKC's longest is 9,800 feet. They're both within 9,800 feet. And then Austin, its longest runway is actually 1-8 right, 3-6 left at 12,250 feet. Um, Both of those shouldn't have a problem with the bigger minimum one-way distance for the 747. Good question. The shortest runway you can land on is 5,000 feet. And for takeoff, it says approximately 7,500 to 8,000 feet for a 747-400. So, yeah, Dallas Love can fit. Love can actually fit. Because Love's longest is 8,700. So, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. The 7.4 shouldn't have any problems out of Love. Now, the reason I complained about Tahoe was because Tahoe was over a mile above sea level. But Love shouldn't have any problem. So that's why Dallas Love is going to be on the list. Plus, I think it would be really cool to have. Here's Liberia. This is Liberia, by the way. Is Liberia, Costa Rica. Beautiful area. Alright, guys, we're going to turn left. And we'll get ahead and complete our final landing of the day here in Liberia. Minimum runway distance, here you go. Yeah, it should definitely fit in Dallas Love. Dallas Love would have no problem with it. And so would San Antonio. It would fit in San Antonio and it would fit in Dallas Love. So, and obviously it would be sad to leave off Hobby, but Houston Hobby is salvaged just a bit small. So its longest is 7,600. Plus, we already have Intercontinental, which would probably be better for the long flights. Oh, 737. Oh, 737. Oh, 737. 6,000. Under 200,000 pounds. It's at least 6,000 feet. Actually, it says it's 1,500 meters. What's the runway lead for takeoff? 1,500 meters, which is 1,500. 4,000 feet. So yeah, Dallas Love would have no problem with it. Is about 5,000 feet. Yeah, 5,000 feet for the 7.3. And a fully low one should do. And remember, 2 for Love as well. is that Dallas Love is meant for domestic flights. So again, that will be a problem out of Dallas. Welcome to Liberia, guys. That wraps up our Costa Rican adventure. This was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me on this stream. Yeah, Murph is trucking, but we're still going to rate his channel. Because it's Murph. We have to rate him. Yeah, Texas is a really good destination. Hey, thanks so much for the kind words, George. Thank you. All right. And that's it. So that's it, everyone. Welcome to Liberia, Costa Rica. What a great way to end today's stream. So guys, thank you all so much for coming here today on this trip. This was a beautiful flight. Love Costa Rica. So we will be back here on Wednesday. We'll be seeing you guys at Quito, by the way. We're going to go fly from Quito to Bogota to Merida on Wednesday. So see you back in Ecuador. We're going to go ahead and set up the raid to Two-Toe Murphy. So I hope you guys stick around for the raid. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.